So she's in Vancouver, one of the world's most livable cities, which also has a large Chinese community. So although her freedom and perhaps her dignity have been limited, she's still living the high life. Compare that to what China has done in retribution to Canada for making this arrest. China has seized at least 13 Canadian citizens who were in China as obvious retribution. They say as much publicly. They've also taken a Canadian who was convicted of selling drugs there, and I'm not supporting him. They took him, they opened up his case again, retried him again in one single day, and sentenced him to death as opposed to the prison term he had already been received. So that's just plain murdering a guy as retaliation. China has really ramped up their aggression. Their ambassador actually accused this whole thing of being some white supremacist scheme, saying that's what this was about. So at the very least, I would say it behooves us to let the courts deal with Meng, and that our diplomatic officers, including our ambassador to China, our foreign minister, our prime minister, ought to be fighting to get the remaining Canadians held hostage in China released. And I'm not a fan of drug dealers, but if a guy was already sentenced to prison and serving that prison sentence, and then you suddenly declare that he's going to be executed, that's something we ought to stop too. You can't let a foreign country literally kill a Canadian as a diplomatic move. But look at this. Look at what our ambassador to China said today at a press conference in Markham, Ontario. But funny enough, a press conference to which no mainstream media were invited, just Chinese media. Take a look at these apples.
I think she has quite good arguments on her side. One, political involvement by comments from Donald Trump in her case. Two, there's an extraterritorial aspect to her case. And three, there's the issue of Iran sanctions, which are involved in her case, and Canada does not sign on to these Iran sanctions. So I think she has some strong arguments that she can make before a judge.
Really? So you have Justin Trudeau's hand-picked ambassador to China, former Liberal cabinet minister, by the way, longtime Liberal. So he's not some neutral civil servant, career diplomat. And this was obviously a planned, scripted press conference. And you saw those Chinese language media there. You saw the little microphone flashes, all Chinese media, and the one that said CCTV, that's the state broadcaster in China. And he's making China's case. He's making Meng's case. He's weighing in. He says twice in 30 seconds that she has a really good case. And any judge who wants to be elevated to, say, the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal had better please Justin Trudeau's man on this one, wink, wink. Since when do senior politicians tell judges what to do without even hearing the evidence before the trial, by the way? It's before the trial. But even if the trial had been done, since when does a politician tell the courts what's right and what's wrong? I mean, that's how they do it in China. That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. Every day, I do a video monologue, and then I interview an interesting guest, and then I end by reading my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at therebel.media/shows.